Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, your journey, our passion, and by Dow Automotive Systems, improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com.
Hello and welcome to another Autoline Daily as we strive to keep you up to speed with the latest developments in the global automotive industry. And a sad note here. We just got word this morning that IG Toyota, who played such an important role in expanding the Toyota Motor Company in the U.S. market, died at the age of 100. He was the longest serving president of the company when he stepped down in 1994 and has definitely earned his way into the automotive history books. After it looked like car sales in Europe were starting to recover in July with a 5% increase, they slid back down again in August. Bloomberg reports that car sales in the region fell nearly 5% compared to a year ago to just under 690,000 vehicles. Peugeot, Citroën, and Volkswagen were the hardest hit. Sales at the French automakers dropped 18%, while VW saw its sales drop by 11%. Through the first 8 months of 2013, sales are down just over 5% to only 8.1 million vehicles in Europe, and this suggests that market has not hit bottom yet. All the hard work over at GM is paying off because, along with the Chevy Impala getting the top spot on Consumer Reports' large sedan list, the new Chevy Silverado was just named top full-size pickup, and that is stunning. I can't think of a time when Chevy had both a sedan and a truck topping the list. The Silverado just beat out the Ram 1500 because of its larger bed, better payload capacity, and better tow rating. You know, all you PD people out there at General Motors, give yourselves a pat on the back because this is quite an accomplishment. Speaking of GM, it nearly tripled the size of its global battery systems lab in Michigan, which tests and validates battery cells and packs for all of the company's EV systems. With the expansion, the facility is now capable of building prototype battery packs, developing and testing new chargers, and benchmarking competitors. In addition to Michigan, GM also has battery labs in China and Germany. And let's stick with electric cars for the moment. Tesla is on a tear. Sales are running strong, its stock price is running even stronger, and the company is very bullish about its future. But there is one problem. Tesla is circumventing U.S. franchise laws by opening its own stores instead of going through the normal dealer franchise network. Now the Detroit News reports that a group of California car dealers are asking the state to investigate fraudulent advertising by Tesla. They say Tesla includes the $7,500 federal tax credit in their advertised pricing, even though only about 20% of buyers qualify for that credit. Believe me, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to car dealers trying to stop Tesla. So it's time for another Autoline Daily poll. Do you think Tesla should be allowed to operate its own stores, or should it have to go through the dealer franchise network like every other automaker is forced to? We want to know what you think, and we'll report the results later this week. Coming up next, we'll take a look at Volkswagen's claim that when it comes to electric cars, it's going to outsell every other automaker in the world.
There's so much to love about Bridgestone's Dueler tires. The amazing traction, the quiet, comfortable ride, and they're really tough. It's like loving 3 tires in one.
Volkswagen created something of a firestorm at the Frankfurt Auto Show last week, at least amongst the EV crowd. VW unveiled the production versions of its electric Golf and Up, and went on to brag that it'll soon become #1 in the EV segment by 2018. Well, that sure ticked off the people at Nissan. They were visibly irritated that VW had the audacity to claim it would outsell them. Volkswagen states that electric cars will comprise 3% of its global sales by 2018, and since it plans on being the world's biggest car company by then, it also assumes that it will sell more electric cars than anyone else by then. Of course, the key to that assumption is sales, and I don't think they have a very good chance of pulling that off. More about that in a moment. Yesterday, I got a chance to test drive one of VW's EV development cars, or mules, based on the last generation Golf. It has an 85 kilowatt electric motor that produces 270 Newton meters, or nearly 200 foot-pounds of torque, and it has a 25 kilowatt hour battery pack that provides roughly 100 miles range, at least according to VW. The battery cells are manufactured by Panasonic or Sanyo, depending on whether they're going in the Golf or the Up. But VW makes almost everything else in-house. The development mule I drove performs quite well. VW says it will run from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 11.7 seconds, which is pretty slow by today's standards. That's nearly 3 seconds slower than the Chevy Volt. Yet, the e-Golf doesn't feel slow, thanks to all that torque. It also has 5 separate regen settings that you can choose using the paddle shifters on the car. Using the left-hand downshift paddle, I could slow the car down. I love that feature. I hope it makes it into the production version. VW is going to need all the help it can get to sell these electric cars. It decided not to develop a dedicated BEV and converted the Golf and Up instead. Ford tried this same approach with the Focus, and the sales results have been miserable. So far this year, Ford sold about 1,200 of them compared to over 13,000 Leafs. But VW says selling 1,000 EVs can have a noticeable impact on an OEM's fleet emissions in the US, since those electrics are counted as having zero emissions. And they can start selling those EV credits in California, so it believes the effort is worth it, at least from a regulatory standpoint. Look for the electric Golf and Up to go on sale next summer in Europe, then hit the US market about 6 months later, and then at some point they'll also make their way into the Chinese market. Anyway, that wraps up today's report. Thanks for watching, and please join us again tomorrow.